Awesome. Che, my man, it has been too long. We keep saying we got to do this, but you know what? Summer keeps coming up. We've got kids. We get busy. Wintertime, it was easy to get every week, every other week. And now I'm so happy to be talking to you again, doing the stuff we love. Tell me, how are you? What's going on? How are we doing tonight, Che?
Man, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. It's just doing real good, man. I'm in a good place. I'm in a really good place. I'm back. I don't know. We took a break from our show. I took a break from buying cards. I took a break from tweeting. I looked at my Twitter analytics from June. I mean, it was comical how little I participated, how little I interacted. Man, I've been rejuvenated. That first box of Stadium Club I bought, man, it kicked me in the butt and got me back in gear. And I'm back, man. Glad to be talking to you. It's been too long, and let's have some fun. That's what it's all about, right? The hobby's about having fun, and I haven't been having a lot of fun, but that's changing, and I'm ready to go. So let's rock and roll. What's up, Zach?
Awesome. I'm having a ton of fun too, because one of my favorite products of all time just dropped, because I love the Prism Draft Picks cards. Now, I'm not sure how it's going to play out next year with the NILs and stuff. And I heard that, college kids still playing are going to have cards. But, I like the Notre Dame guys and their jerseys. I got a nice Chase Claypool and Will Fuller rainbows going on. They're costing me like 50 cents a card compared to the Jerry Jeudy ones where they want $75 for out of 149. I'm like, no, 75 cents maybe. But yeah, looking forward to some drops coming up. I did get the Stadium Club. I like that. Not as much as you, obviously. It's your favorite product, but I had the Prism Draft Picks, and I loved it. So I'm good, busy. Hopefully, I'm really trying hard to get to Chicago on Thursday. Wife and family, kids were all supposed to go, and then just didn't happen. Wasn't in the books for us. Some work stuff came up, and expenses, because we're going to Disney next month. So it just wasn't fiscally smart to take, we're going to go on a family vacation and hit up the National. So I'm looking to probably try to go Thursday, Friday, Saturday, just by myself. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. So,
man, I always wanted to go to the National. Kind of thought about trying to get there this year. Probably wouldn't have been the best year for me to try to get there, but kind of envious of those folks that are going to be there for sure. But one day I'll get there. It's a bucket list thing for me for sure. Would love to go. Have you ever been?
I have not. I've wanted to. We had plans the last 2 years and just didn't make it. And for, whatever reason, it's just not been in the books for me yet. But, I've been to card shows around. Obviously, it's the one to go to. And I'll just live vicariously through other people and enjoy their videos. I know I've seen some people like, I'm going to be jealous. I'm going to be this. I'm going to be that. I'm not going to be on Twitter because everybody's going to be meeting each other. And I'm going to be like, hey, that's great. I'm going to watch Eloy and, K-Dub meet a bunch of people, or Ben from Midwest Box Breaks. His whole crew's going to, he invited me to the Reds-Cubs game on Wednesday. He's like, hey, I got a ticket with your name on it, man. I know you're a big Reds fan. Let's have a beer and hang out. And I just want to see the people, because, I'm all about the people and meeting each other and having a good time. And it's good people doing good things. And that's what the whole National is going to be. The cards, if I went, it would be secondary. Yeah, I'm going to bring stuff. Yep. And I got my shirt on that Garrett's wife made for me, my Christmas present. And so, it's going to be about the relationship building. And so hopefully I can get out there and meet some amazing human beings and, network with them. And, I do have a brand. It is Gold Line Cards. And we'll get into that a little bit here later. But I want to, we're talking about going to Chicago. There's one place right now that I don't want to be. Japan. More specifically, Tokyo. More specifically, if my name was Kevin and my last name was Durant. So they've got all these memes you see online, like, oh, Durant can't win in Oklahoma City, so he goes to Golden State, wins a couple. And he's like, hey, let's go to New Jersey and win. Oh, we're not going to win. Hey, let's go to Team USA. Nope, now I got a France jersey on. I'm French now. I'm playing for France. I'm going to put my little cone head on, like France, we come from France. And it's like, Kevin Garnett, you were supposed to be the greatest player in the world. You're dropping 10 points versus France. You got Giannis Antetokounmpo, which I can't pronounce his name, dropping 50 in the NBA Finals, and you're dropping 10 on
Yeah.
France. Now they're going to blame Popovich, and it's the San Antonio offense. Basically, you could put these guys out there, play street ball, and you should be winning by 50. You're dropping 10. I mean, I feel like Allen Iverson should be like 10? 10? What are you talking about, man? We talking about 10?
Man, I saw that meme yesterday from the Players Tribute, and I retweeted it. I got a good belly laugh out of that. The one with him, my next chapter, and he had the France logo on the shirt. I mean, it's crazy. They got beat in a couple of the exhibition preliminary games. They got beat by France in the first round. I know that the NBA is moving further and further away in the way the game is played from the way the international game is played. It's almost, it's truly two different brands of basketball. And that does make a difference in how the game is played. However, I mean, the fact that this team, and I know France had Gobert, but we've got 10 Goberts. You know what I'm saying? We should not be losing to France. Durant's playing terrible, and I found so much humor. I've never been a big Durant fan. I don't have anything against him. I've just never been a big fan of his. I found so much humor in all the talk about him going to play for France. But no, man, it's Luka had 48 today in their game, and he didn't even really play in the fourth quarter because they had such a big lead. So, Luka goes and drops 48 in his Olympic debut. But it's kind of sad that a team this talented, and I know they have a lot of new faces, but they, like you said, they should play street ball. They should just pick up, they could put those 10 guys together with a couple of days notice and should be able to have a better showing than what they've had all throughout the lead up to the Olympics and now in the first game of the Olympics. I mean, at this point, let's hope we qualify for the medal round. I mean, gosh, we've lost 3 out of the last 4, so who knows? It's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously there's no LeBron, no AD, no Harden, no Kyrie, no true team leader. There's no, Kobe's not on the squad. You don't have, Kevin Garnett to be the leader. You don't got Tim Duncan to be the guy, or David Robinson, the mailman.
You got Kevin Durant, supposed to be the best player on the planet. I mean, you've got Kevin Durant.
Well, you've got players, but you don't have leaders, is what I was trying to get at.
Yeah.
But also, Luka made a point, and when he came over, he said it's easier to score here. And then, like you said, he goes out and drops 49. You said that's
48.
Incredible.
Yeah,
48. But if you don't want to be in Tokyo, I think you might want to be in Anaheim, because there's this guy in Anaheim that's doing some things that haven't been done in my lifetime.
Hold on 1 minute. We talked earlier today, and you kind of alluded to the fact that something about you didn't like the what's the you don't like the Olympics, or
let's talk about that for a second. To me, I love the Olympics. I just don't like these Olympics this year. And I was talking about it with some friends, actually my boss this morning, because I had to work some crazy hours overtime. And it's like, we live in the instant information age. So if I'm not watching a game at 2:00 in the morning, I already know who won. So at dinner tonight, we're watching USA gymnastics. Simone Biles is on. Like, I already know what happens. So, I'm watching because it's Simone Biles pretty much. But as soon as the next person comes on, I change it because I already know what happens. It's the instant information age that we live on, and where you get on Twitter, you get on Facebook, you get on ESPN, you get on Yahoo, and the headline is USA lost to France. Like, game was on at like 8 a.m. on like a Friday morning. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. I would have liked to. The next one's at I think 12:30 in the morning. So if you're not up watching that, you already know what happens. And then, ratings are the lowest they've been in 33 years. It's no longer primetime TV where you sit down with the family and watch. And you could know what happens. You could not. But now it's almost impossible not to know unless you're purposely trying not to know. Where before you could just, hey, I just don't know. I'd have to go find it. Now it's almost like you'd have to purposely not find it. And so I think that's led to me being disengaged with it. And also with the viewership down is just, if I'm watching a Broncos game and I already know who won, like, I'm just going to fast forward to the touchdowns.
Yeah, that makes sense. I hadn't thought about that, and anytime the Olympics are on the other side of the world, we've had that where things are on delay, but we haven't had we have for a few years, but this is a completely new era in the age of information. And you're right. And I was looking the other night, and I like to watch things in 4K. I've got a 4K TV, and I pay for the 4K programming, so I want to watch stuff in 4K. I want to watch it. I truly think with as many options, as many digital options and streaming options as we have, that I should be able to watch all these events live if I wanted to. If I was up at 3 o'clock in the morning, I should have the option to watch them in full 4K live at that time, and then they on an alternate channel, and then they can still do their pre-programmed, pre-packaged, delayed broadcast on NBC or on Peacock later that night, like they do. But in today's day and age, with, like you said, I turn on Twitter, I turn on my computer, or I open my phone, and I see all the information coming in from what's already happened, but I'm not allowed to see till later tonight. I would really like to be able to see everything that I wanted to see live. But I've been disengaged with these Olympics, not because of that. It's because for some reason I'm just not really that into it this year. My uncle came over today. We had a funeral to go to this morning. And then after the funeral, he came to my house, and we kind of sat for 4 or 5 hours. Hadn't seen him in a while. And we turned on the Olympics to watch. And that's the first I've watched since they've been on. Was this afternoon. We watched some beach volleyball and some swimming. But I just haven't been into them this time. Just don't know why. It's just kind of sneaked up on me. Didn't even realize they were here. But definitely the least engaged I've been in a long time in the Olympics.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up, that you weren't really aware that they were here. I feel like also maybe it's just the pandemic or just a different lifestyle that we're all living right now. This is the least amount of publicity like I've ever seen for it. Like I wasn't even sure when the opening ceremony was. Team USA women's soccer had lost a game already before the opening ceremony even happened. And it was just like, oh, this is on now? Okay. And really the reason I knew about most stuff is because I'm in just like we did a random draft of countries at my work and did a gold medal count for fun. And that's kind of how, someone got us engaged on it. So,
yeah.
All right, we ready to move on to the other side of the country now?
Yeah, move on. Yeah. I knew you talked about that earlier and thought you might want to bring that up. So
I did. So thank you for reminding me because, like I said, I've been up since 2 a.m. last night. So I am tired. I had to work 3 a.m. to 3 p.m. today. Then the sun's beating me up doing some yard work.
That's a terrible shift.
Well, I had to do a trade for somebody who's going to work for me then on Friday because the plan is to go to Chicago. So if I wanted to have Friday off work, I needed to work this shift. So
gotcha.
It'll all work out in the end. But there's this guy named Shohei Ohtani who's doing things that I've never seen in my lifetime. People can compare him to Babe Ruth, but it's also we're in a different era of baseball. Yep. I've seen people say Babe Ruth striking out plumbers, but also Babe Ruth's like a plumber himself. We have no idea what he would do in today's day and age. We have no idea what Ohtani would do in 80 years. You just can't compare the two.
Yeah.
But the man, started the All-Star game as a starting pitcher, which I don't know if that was just for just to give him the title of what he did. Or I don't think he's the number one pitcher in the American League, but he was voted on by his peers for it. It's a cool thing. And he starts the DH. He leads the league in home runs. And he's an amazing pitcher. And he plays on a team with Mike Trout. So when Mike Trout's hurt, when Mike Trout comes back, they're going to have to start pitching to him more. Yeah. So he's just going to get better. Like, does he have a chance to beat Barry Bonds? I don't know. He definitely has a chance to beat Sosa and McGuire. But this is definitely, almost every show I've done is Ohtani must-see TV. Well, yes, when he's hitting. No, when he's pitching. Like, he is must-see TV all the time. Like, if they had a MLB Red Zone like they have the NFL, and it was just Ohtani, like I would watch that like all the time. Like give me an alert on my phone. Ohtani's about to be up. Okay, I'm tuning in.
Yeah,
like he's.
I agree.
Much must see TV.
Must see TV. He's always got that smile on his face, man. I'm going to get to this in a minute because I just thought of this, and I hadn't even planned to talk about this, but I do want to talk about it. Just always got an infectious smile. I mean, I watched that whole All-Star weekend. I wanted him to do better in the home run derby. I mean, he spent the first minute and 45 seconds hitting line drives down the line and still almost won. Came back to tie, Soto in that first round. If he'd had a single home run in the first minute and 40 seconds, he would have, blown Soto out of the water, and who knows what he would have done later. But just a generation, we're seeing a once a century type performance. I mean, as far as what we've seen leading up to this point, Babe Ruth was about 100 years ago. We haven't really seen anything like it until now. I mean, the guy's just incredible to watch. He's 36 home runs now. I think he got to 36. I know it's for sure 35. I think he got to 36 maybe yesterday or today. He's chasing clout for sure. Ohtani is all about that clout. But no, he's you said, on the mound, he might not be deserving of the starting spot on the All-Star team, but he's an all-star. He's an all-star pitcher. I do think that. He's an all-star caliber pitcher. He is a best in the league caliber hitter, and he's doing it at the same time. And I don't know how long he can continue this without, focusing on one or the other, but I'm going to enjoy it while I'm able to. But having said, I talked about his smile and him being marketable. I saw something the other day. Obviously, he's got the international appeal. He comes from Japan, huge over there, but he is the highest compensated endorsement player in the major leagues right now. And I saw a number, and, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. We're not all about facts here. I like to be factual, but I'm pretty sure he gets like $6 million a year in endorsements. And that is an indictment on Major League Baseball. That is an absolute indictment on how crappy, how awful they do at marketing the game. This dude is a once-in-a-century type talent, having a once-in-a-century type season. And they just don't market the game, man. I love baseball. I love it. But they trip all over themselves so badly on almost every flipping thing they do. It's just, I'd love to see baseball thrive and prosper. I would love to see them get some crap right, maybe get a good commissioner that's maybe not beholden to the owners. I know the owners pay the commissioner's salary, so it's a catch-22. What are you going to do? But I would love to see baseball run properly. It would make it so much better.
Yeah, in your point of, you're saying that he's the face of baseball and he's marketable. Then you've got ESPN talking head Stephen A. Smith saying he's not marketable because he doesn't speak English very well. Like, yeah, he does. It's not perfect, but he uses a translator, and Ichiro did too. And Ichiro could speak very good English. And he came out and said, I use an interpreter because the English language is hard. To learn the different ways to say adjectives or verbs and to say it properly, you want to have an interpreter whose literal job it is to take what you're saying and put it in the context you want to say it. You could say what you mean, and it could come out completely different than what you mean because someone else is reading it for you.
No, so in this day and age of the 24-hour news cycle and Twitter and just a microscope on everything you do and say, and no matter what you do and what you say, somebody's going to find fault in it, and so it's going to be online. Man, I don't blame him. I'm born and raised here. I would love to have somebody to interpret if I were being interviewed for, with a worldwide audience. I don't blame the guy for wanting to use an interpreter because, how much scrutiny does everything any public figure does now? Man, yeah, I would absolutely, if I had the ability to use an interpreter, even if I spoke it really, really well, I would take advantage of that for sure.
Absolutely. You got ball players posting screenshots of them getting death threats and people saying they're going to come after your family and stuff. I saw that. I tweeted that the other day. It's awful. Because you have an error or you missed a shot or you struck out in a big situation. Like, we're all human beings and it's a game. Like, maybe he lost you some money. That's your own problem, but that's all kinds of bad. But yeah, like Josh says, there are 2 players on the Angels teams that are once in a lifetime talent. And Anthony Rendon may be the purest hitter on the team too. Like, it's incredible. Yeah. So that Angels team, if they can get it together, they're dangerous in the playoffs, in my opinion. So Yeah, and Josh says you can play dumb and speak how you want, LOL. But it's like we talked about, you got to have someone who you trust to say what you mean. Because how many times we even see even people who speak in English, or I could tell you something, you heard it a different way, you're going to run with it and go tell this story. When Josh heard it this way, he's going to go run and tell this story. When this is the story I actually meant. Just try doing that in another language. Like it's just it's tenfold. So. What that leads us into our next topic, man, this is the perfect segue, is, the hobby is going in new directions. I opened soccer for the first time in my life, and I enjoyed it. And the first person I told was Brant, because he's my soccer dude.
Yeah.
So, this week I wasn't feeling very well, and my buddy's like, hey, I got tickets to the Crew game. Do you want to go? I'm like, I'm not feeling great. He's like, I'm not either, but let's just go. We'll have a good time. And we have a brand new stadium downtown. Beautiful. Had like the best time. And I don't like soccer. So I got that Euro 2020 mosaic. And I don't think I know one player's name that I opened out of that box. But that might have been the most fun I've had opening cards in a really long time. Really? So I wasn't after chasing somebody. I wasn't with the prism and disappointing because I didn't hit Burrow or a silver Herbert. I was just opening beautiful cards. Like I really like opening Pokemon now because they're just, the card art and the full arts are just such good looking cards. I've got some around here somewhere. I'll show in a minute. But that's just, it's the different way that the hobby's taking me now. And like stuff we're doing right now with StreamYard. Yeah, people have been doing it for a long time, but we haven't. I mean, we're coming up to probably about a year, a little over a year. You and I have been doing this. So, but you had said you, Jen, and Tom had done the box wars. Dylan and I do the box wars. My buddy Nick Lucchese and I, we get on Zoom all the time, and we don't really box war. We'll just get on and, we both have the same box or something. We'll chat for an hour, hour and a half, open some packs together. And he lives in Florida, and we get to hang out that way. It's opening up to other sports. There's more people now opening Formula One racing. There's UFC. WNBA Prism's back next month. That's my daughter's favorite product. They've got NASCAR cards that I've opened. They've got NFTs. I'm still into Top Shot. I'm not sure if you are, but I still actually like it. And the whole thing comes back to do what you want to do. And if you haven't seen the Dub Mentality video, which you talked to earlier, I think he's got a blog on it too. It's like, some people like vintage cards. Some people like cards with women on them. Some people like wrestling cards. Some people like new cards. It's like, do what you want and have a good time. Yep. Like, just if you're not enjoying the hobby, then stop, because it's a hobby. Just enjoy it. Like, what are your thoughts on the new direction, I guess?
I like seeing the hobby go in different directions. Now, I think a lot goes back to the lack of availability of the traditional football, basketball. You can't just go buy the stuff that you used to be able to go buy. So people have to adapt. But, people need to adapt if they want to have fun. You said it, Tom and Jen and I sat down the other day. We had Topps Series 2, a blaster each. Probably wouldn't be a whole lot of fun to sit by yourself at the kitchen table and open one blaster of Topps Series 2. But we all hopped on Zoom and we opened, Tom opened a pack, I opened a pack, then Jen opened a pack. We compared, we had a conversation. Tom recorded a video after that, a totally different video about the rack, but we had just finished our opening together as Tom was leading into the video he was doing about the racks he had gotten. And I don't know if I think you did see the video because you did comment on it. As we led into the video about his racks, I don't know if you heard the laughter. And that was just pure joy laughter that was going on. As I hit record, we were just laughing and having such a good time opening a damn Series 2 box, So we just, this hobby is supposed to be fun. I said it earlier. It's supposed to be fun. And we found a way to make opening a box of Topps Series 2 fun. And we just all hopped on a Zoom together. We had a great conversation over cards, sharing the experience. And it was really cool. But yeah, Ivan Watch the Breaks ran a poll the other day, and I don't know the wording of the poll, but it was asking something about if you couldn't buy, baseball, what would be the next sport you would buy be? And soccer won. Soccer was, way up there. Jimmy from Kentucky Roadshow is literally recruiting people from South America and has bought a new building simply to do his soccer breaks. So he is adding on to his Kentucky Roadshow shop. He's bought an adjacent building. He's doing a couple other things like putting a mini football field and basketball courts in front of it so the kids can have a place to hang out. It's pretty cool. But the new building is going to be his studio. And he's training people that know soccer on how to do breaks. So he's gone to South America. He's actually helping these people put them through college, but I won't get into Jimmy's business. But Jimmy's a great guy. But he's bringing people from South America to Kentucky and is going to pay them to do his soccer breaks. So soccer cards are getting huge. And I've seen it on Twitter. I haven't bought any myself, but I've seen just over the past 18 months gone from being a non-existent portion of this hobby, at least on Twitter, visibility wise, to being, it is growing for sure. I think the soccer cards are growing. Formula One cards, you mentioned them earlier. They're growing as well. So I think it's just a natural thing. Hey, I can't buy football anymore. I can't buy basketball. You can still get some baseball, but when you can't buy one thing, you either adapt or you get out. So I think some people are getting out, but the people who want to stay in and they love the hobby are adapting and finding new things to like and new ways to enjoy the hobby. So that's what you got to do.
You worded it perfectly, and I absolutely agree. You said that people are adapting. Like I'm adapting to Pokemon, and I'm really liking it, and so are my kids. And that's the direction that I'm kind of going, Yeah. And what we've talked before, how like when I opened Optic in Prism, like I didn't even enjoy it because it's, hey, I could have $140 for this blaster, or I could open it and hopefully I'd get a silver Herbert. And the whole time you're like nervous, like,
yeah,
okay, I got $20, or I can make $120 and go buy a Bellinger slab with it, or you've got 4 of them at Walmart. There's a car payment for a month. To me, the money really plays a part in the overall satisfaction of opening the box.
Oh yeah, it puts so much pressure on you to get something good, and it's not fun when you're overpaying that much for a product, and then you don't pull. You shouldn't be buying a product to try to find something that you could resell to make your money back on the product. You should be able to buy the product to have something like, hell yes, that's going in my binder, that's going on my shelf. I love that card. But the way the prices have gotten, that can't happen. I've said it before. I bought a damn box of Clearly Donruss basketball back in the winter, and I've almost wanted to throw up. I've never been so sick in my life. The amount of money that I paid for that box, and I pulled a couple of good rookies. I pulled a Tyler Hero rookie. He was a rookie at the time. He's one of the better rookies. I pulled another rookie, and I went and checked comps on that. I wasn't going to sell the Hero anyway. That goes in my PC, but just for the giggles, I went and checked comps. I bought a box of cards that had 12 cards in it in the whole box. Pulled 2 of the better rookies you could pull. And if I sold everything in there, I would have gotten about 20% of my money back. And I was like, it was sickening. So I'm adapting. I'm adapting for sure. I can't do that. I can't go buy the product that I feel the pressure to have to pull something good enough to sell to get my money back on all this damn money I just spent on this product. I can't do it. They're going to buy singles or buy a different product. I can't do the I can't overpay like that.
Yeah, but so if you do buy just say you walk into Walmart tomorrow and you happen to see a Prism football blaster, just, it was on clearance for $9.99. Out of that, you pull Justin Herbert silver auto. Are you going to go ahead and post that on Twitter? Your pull, your hit?
Yeah, absolutely.
But Che, isn't that, hey, look at me, look at everything that I'm doing, that I need to have clout? And look,
I'm all about the clout, brother. I'm trying to get 2,000 followers. I'm all about clout. I want clout.
And I am clout. Just like Groot.
I'm with clout.
I am clout. And this is just to me one of the dumbest things I've seen in a while, with Card Purchaser and Ryan's Cards going back and forth, and some other dude about repacks. Like, everything's a gamble. You want to do repacks? Yeah, that guy Ryan's Cards, he's got a cult following. Like he's got all of his boys. He's got 11,000 followers. He's making money. He's spending money. He's having a good time. Live and let live. If you're going to join a Raz, it's not any different. You're going to open a clearly done Rust box and be severely disappointed. You probably would have spent less on a Ryan's mystery pack and probably got better cards out of it. So, if different people are doing whatever. You want to sell a whole bunch of commons? I got a bunch of Pokemon commons. I hear they give me a nickel for all of them. So I'm going to send them into the company and get a nickel for all of them. But, it's the people who say that. I saw a thing today that people only do racks for clout.
Yeah.
Now, I don't, I'll post a lot because I do a lot of them. And I'm a facilitator. There are a lot of people behind the scenes, and I'm gonna get passionate about this because this really ticks me off. Somebody has to be the face of it. Somebody has to take control and do it. And lately, it's been Will, Employee 84, and I, and you and Tom. And somebody has to do it. And then you've got people in the background who are donating money that you have no idea donated money. But somebody's got to be on the front. I've never once done something to do it for me. It's to do it for somebody else. Now, you know what? I gave Jesse Howe enough money. We did to buy her aunt a wheelchair. That makes me feel good inside. We gave Scott Berger $1,307 to help with his brain tumor. We said, don't spend it on cancer. Spend it on cards. Spend it on an electric bill. Go take your wife out to dinner. Go buy a new pair of shoes. Spend it on something that makes you happy. And that in turn makes me happy. If I do a rack and I send it to you and you post it and say, hey, thanks Goldline Cards for sending this to me and these koozies, it's sweet. Like that's on you. That's great. I'm never once going to be in your DM asking you to post something. Yep. Never. Yep. I have people in my DMs all the time saying, hey man, I sent you this. You mind posting so people can see? Hey man, about our deal we did, you mind posting so people can see? Now, a couple of them, I understand if I bought something off you, we had a smooth transaction and you're doing like a vouch thread, like I'm not going to vouch for you ever, but I'll say, hey, I had a good transaction with this person. We did a trade and it went down smoothly. Yeah. I'm not going to say I recommend you do the same thing. I'm going to tell you what my experience is, but not one person. I mean, look at what you said Jimmy's doing. He's literally buying kids a college education, flying people over here and giving them jobs. Mr. K Dub is sending racks to every single person. Eric Hecker's doing rack of the day. Tyler Murphy said, I need $170 to get some underprivileged school kids school supplies. He had over $1,000 in a day. We talked about Scott Berger, Employee 84. How about raising $3,600 for the Special Olympics? How about raising a whole bunch of money for mental health awareness like you, Lauren, and Tom did? And no one's asking to say, hey, look at me, I'm so great. I'm not going to wear a T-shirt to the National that says, I'm so awesome, come look at me. I might wear a Goldline shirt so people like know who I am. So, Tim's watching, he doesn't know what I look like. You'd be like, oh, that's Chris. Let me go say what's up. But yeah, and then, you brought up a point earlier, like I'm literally trying to build a brand. Look, I'm on my wall. I got a poster. I got a T-shirt. I've got koozies. I've got hand sanitizer. I've got bracelets. I've got like little knife things, but that's like a business I'm trying to create. Yeah. So yeah, I'm not out here saying, 45,000 retweets and I'm going to give away an Acuna PSA 10. I'm not doing that. I mean, I did that once with like 50 followers and I instantly regretted it. And I was like, that's stupid. That sucks. I'm never doing something like that again. But lessons learned. But never would I do something for clout. Now, is it going to be building up my brand? Absolutely, of course. But it's not going to be, hey, look at me, I'm so great. It's, hey, you know what? That Goldline guy, he does some good things.
Yeah, you're building your brand, and people want to call that clout. They can call that clout. But, you've been talking about
it. Cloutline.
There's somebody in this chat right now that is commenting in this chat. I'm not going to call them out by name, that I know for a fact that has donated thousands, 4 figures and higher in money and cards, that has never said a word. Most people in this hobby don't know who they even are. They're not doing it for the clout. There's other person in this chat that has sent me card after card after card that is handpicked for my collection. That I tweeted the other day, somebody asked, show me your favorite card in your collection right now. And the card I showed, I got from this person in this chat. I was like, this is my favorite card in my collection. That person never, ever says anything online publicly, never seeks anything. It just makes, I call it the fellowship of the miserable. We've got the fellowship of the miserable in every,
hilarious.
well, Kentucky football fans, we've called them the fellowship of the miserable for years. There's these people who are never, ever, ever happy. It doesn't matter. And I'm sure every fan base has them. Doesn't matter who the coach is, who the quarterback is. They're going to find a reason to be miserable. And the hobby Twitter has a fellowship of the miserable. And they've got to find something to complain about, and they've got to find something to call out. And for the last couple of days, it's been, they've chosen these people who give racks aren't really giving racks for the good of the fun of giving. They shouldn't call attention to themselves. Well, you know what? These people aren't calling attention to themselves. But if I get the card of a lifetime and so gave it to me, I'm going to shout it out and say, look at this beautiful, amazing gift that I got from this person. How awesome are they? That doesn't make them seeking clout just because that they took the time to go find, this is the card that I know he would want. The card we got for Jimmy Bible the other day, you know, K-Dub and I looked for it for a long time till we found that is the card. That's the one we want to get him. You know what? And we didn't go on Twitter and say, look what we got Jimmy Bible. But when he got it, he recorded the video and said, look what these people got for me. You know, but we didn't go announce it. We didn't want to announce it. We wanted him to have this card. So wasn't chasing clout, you know, just love the feeling of, I love the feeling that I got when I get all these Devin Mesorasko cards. I tweeted about those earlier today. Do you think D Moose is seeking clout by sending me a $3 Devin Mesorasko? No, but he knows I love Devin Mesorasko because my mom loved him, you know? So I don't know, that guy who tweeted that, I could tell him, you're seeking clout among your fellowship of the miserable by just, all you're trying to do is push buttons. You know, you're just trying to post something, tweet something that's going to get you more likes, get you more views, and a hot topic, an unpopular take. It's kind of like a shock jock. You know, you can't come up with a lot of stuff that's original and makes people falling for something positive. If I'm seeking clout by being positive, I'd much rather get my clout by being positive than get my clout by taking the negative route. So call me a clout seeker. I'm with clout right here. There's Mr. Clout. I'm with clout. And if you want to say,
but do you have 2,000 followers yet?
No, I don't. No, I don't.
So you're not a respectable member of the hobby.
I'm not a respected member of the hobby because I don't have 2,000 followers. I'm close.
You want some of mine?
Yeah.
I got too many. You want some of mine?
No, I don't. Actually, I don't. I mean, I
don't either.
This is not not in our notes, but I love my Twitter feed. I've seen so many people talk about how negative their timelines have been the last 2 or 3 days. I haven't seen a bunch of it at all because I've got my timeline just how I like it. You know what? And when I tweet stuff, I don't get an influx of negativity, negative responses immediately. I get it every once in a while, but it's rare that I get it. It's rare that I see it on my timeline because I don't do the follow for follow, and I don't. I'll unfollow you, and I'll invite you to unfollow me, and I'll invite you to block me because when I open that damn app, I want to be happy. So I'm not seeking 1 million followers, and I'm not going to follow 1 million people. This hobby is fun. This is the 3rd time I've said it. I'm in the hobby for fun. Twitter's part of my hobby. And when it ceases being fun, I make a change. So that's what I do.
And, you know, you said something about cleansing the timeline. Eric Hecker had just posted something, and I believe it was either Buck City Breaks or the Rip and Gypsy Discord saying that he has been off Twitter for 18 hours. And it was like the greatest 18 hours of his life. He wasn't worried about the rack of the day, wasn't worried about this, wasn't worried about that. And I'll tell you, like now, the last couple of weeks, you know, I've been outside with the kids every night, doing yard work with my neighbor, sitting around the fire pit, like not just sitting on my phone like I used to during COVID when you couldn't go out and do things. Yeah. And yeah, I see a lot more people who are not as active. Like I used to talk to Josh and Kelly every single day. Now it's probably once or twice a week. And it's the same thing. They've got lives, they've got stuff to do. And you're just not sitting in front of a phone being miserable. I mean, there are people who still are. There's also people who got back to the real world too.
Yeah, I certainly got back to the real world starting in May. Tom and I finished our Jed Foundation thing. And I'm telling you, I looked at my analytics today. I mean, it was like, I was an 80% drop off in my number of tweets. I mean, it was 80% less. In June, I tweeted 80% less than I had in any month leading 6 months. But I got back into the real world. I went to dinner with friends.
Wow.
Because COVID, I'm vaccinated. My friends are vaccinated. We're not going to get into any kind of that stuff. But I was comfortable going and visiting friends and going out. It's summer, like you said. And man, I told you when we got on this thing, I'm in the best place I've been personally in a long, long time. And now I'm learning to balance it. I'm back on Twitter. I'm doing a lot more on Twitter than I did last month, but I'm still doing stuff in my personal life too. I found a good balance. I'm having fun in my hobby. I'm having fun in my life. Kevin plays Fortnite 20 hours a day. Hey,
that's my
kids,
brother. He's just kidding around.
Well, Kevin's got a good sense of humor. I know that. We need to get him back on the show, by the way. Kevin, come back. We need you back on the show.
He works evenings sometimes, so maybe if we do Labor Day, he can get on there on a Monday night.
There you go.
But you talked about an 80% drop off. You know where there's an 80% drop off?
I love your segues. Let's go. What is it?
From the San Francisco Giants to the Arizona Diamondbacks. Let's talk a little best division in baseball, NL West, who's going to put three teams in the playoffs. And you don't know which three teams. And one of them's probably not going to have the reigning Cy Young winner because I don't even want to talk about this man right now tonight. But their starting rotation went down because he made some poor life decisions. Yeah. But still, they're going to have Clayton Kershaw. They're going to have Walker Buehler. They're going to have a solid bullpen. Who even knows what they're going to do with Dustin May? Who knows what they're going to do with David Price? I mean, Kenley Jensen has been hit or miss, but he has just been rock solid in the playoffs. Their offense, I mean, you got Cody Bellinger, a former Rookie of the Year, MVP, World Series champion, batting like 180. You think he's going to be batting 180 in September? I highly doubt it. You got Max Muncy. You got Gavin Lux. You got Will Smith. You got Chris Taylor just hitting the seams off the ball. Then you got San Diego.
They went out and got a second baseman this week. They made improvements to their team.
Not just an all-star starting second baseman.
Yeah.
And then you've got, 4 former Reds over there on the San Francisco Giants who I probably can't even tell you a person on the team who's not one of those Reds or Buster Posey. Yeah. I mean, is Evan Longoria still there? Maybe. Is Hunter Pence still there? Maybe. I don't know, Brandon Crawford. I honestly could not tell you, but they have the best record in baseball. And what?
Yeah, they've got the best record in baseball in the toughest division in baseball with what was thought to be the two of the best 4 or 5 teams in baseball.
They have three teams that could win 100 games.
3 of the best 6 teams in the game are in the National League West. All 3 of them could win 100 games, which is amazing because Tom made a great point on Around the Hobby a couple months back and said that they couldn't do it because they all had to play each other so much. But they are doing it because they're beating the crap out of everybody else. And the crazy thing is, if you look at the way the MLB playoff bracket is set up, there's no possibility that more than one of those teams can make it to the NLCS. It's going to be so top heavy because the way the wild card is, 2 of those teams will be playing each other in the play-in round. And then whoever wins that will play the division winner in the second round. So, I mean, 3 of the best teams in baseball in the same division. It's going to be fun to watch. It's absolutely going to be fun to watch. It's crazy to see all that winning coming out of one division. It's such a top-heavy division. Poor Arizona could be a lot better than we give them credit for. They just have to play the flipping Padres and Dodgers and Giants all the time. They're not that good, but you know what I'm saying? It's crazy how good. I don't know. I just turned 47, and I shouldn't admit that, but it's already been put on Twitter this week. Somebody else was making fun of me. But in my lifetime, I don't know that I've seen a division with 3 teams that top heavy. I've seen a lot of 2-team top heavy divisions, but I don't know if I've ever seen one that deep with, that's 3 World Series legit contenders, 300 game winning teams, legit chance to win it in the same division at the same time. It's pretty incredible, actually.
Yeah, and you go from one league that's got 3 amazing teams to another division that's got 1 amazing team, 1 team that's going to have a different team name next year.
Yeah.
and a team that we thought we'd be good in Minnesota. So let's talk about the White Sox, who are getting two of their best players back. And I'm not even sure I can say that with the amount of talent they have. And then they've got Yerman Mercedes just like, I quit. I'm back. I was the hottest player in April. Then I fell off. Then I went to AAA. Then I didn't want to play anymore. Now I'm playing again. But you know what? You got Eloy Jimenez. You got
back
Lewis
tonight,
Robert
right?
Coming back.
Eloy's back tonight. Robert's coming back. They've been winning. They've got quietly like the third best record in the game. They've been playing with the Charlotte Knights. I mean, they've been playing for a while with like the Charlotte lineup. I mean, they've been decimated by injury. So how dangerous are they going to be? Like Eloy comes back tonight. I don't know when Lewis is slated to return. That's a team to watch out for. That is an absolute team to watch out for come playoff time. So, they get back healthy. Look out.
I feel like in the American League, in the National League, honestly, it's the Dodgers, Padres, or Giants. I really don't think it's the Giants. I think it's the Dodgers or the Padres. The Mets could get some kind of crazy just because they got DeGrom. They could get lucky with now they got they just got Rich Hill, I think it is, a new pitcher over there just started. I can't think off the top of my head. But the American League, I mean, it's just there's not teams that are great. There are a lot of really good teams, but nobody that's just great. Like I said, if the Angels can sneak into the playoffs, they've got the offense to get there. Houston, as far I hate the Astros, but they've got a World Series caliber team. The Yankees, just you never know what's going to happen with the trade deadline. There's rumors of Max Scherzer. Imagine if Scherzer goes to the Yankees, they could have the best rotation in the history of baseball. Like it blows my mind. Blows my mind. And then we're talking.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I wasn't going to say anything. Nothing valuable.
Yeah, because I'm going to move on then. So
move on.
Because we're talking about the best rotation in all of baseball with Max Scherzer, possibly Garrett Cole. So there's rumors today that Aaron Rodgers is going to reach a 1-year deal to get back with the Green Bay Packers. So basically, hey, I hate you, you hate me, but I got to play somewhere. You're not going to trade me. I want to make my $35 million. I'm an MVP, and I want to win a Super Bowl, so I'm going to come play for you. Denver's going to see how Drew Lock does for 1 more year. Then I'm going to go play for Denver, win 4 Super Bowls for them while they trade Drew Lock to somebody like, I don't know, the Colts, because Carson Wentz isn't that good. And they're going to get a second-round pick for Drew Lock because Drew Lock's going to take us to the Super Bowl this year. And we're going to lose to the Packers, and then Aaron Rodgers is going to come. He's going to win in Green Bay this year, then in Denver next year. It's going to be the first time ever that you won – 2 different conferences, back-to-back years, back-to-back teams. Or no, I'm sorry, Mr. Thomas Brady just did that, didn't he?
Yeah. I don't know if that's going to happen.
No, it's not going to happen. I think
it's going to be a soap opera train wreck. Devontae Adams is in the last year before he's going to be out of there. Rodgers is obviously not happy. Rodgers also has a history of kind of a contentious relationship with media. And I think it's just going to be a clown show. It's going to be a circus comes to town wherever they go. I don't see a good outcome. And 2, it pisses me off because I had some really good Jordan Love cards that I was looking forward to selling when football season started. If he got the starting nod and maybe threw for 300 yards and 2 touchdowns and 3 touchdowns in one game, I could dump
like
those cards.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire, where his card went to $140 at halftime. Now it's a $6 card.
Yeah. Oh, I've got the Loves lined up. I've got the descriptions already written. I was going to put them on eBay as soon as he threw for 2 touchdowns in the first quarter of one game. But no, I think it's going to be a train wreck. I understand keeping him, but also, man, he's gone. He's absolutely gone. I thought maybe they should try to get a little bit of value out of him. Do you weigh how much value can we get with him as a trade fodder? Or do we get the value of what he can bring to our team? But I think it's going to fall on his face, and they should have traded him or tried to get him traded.
Yeah, I mean, I agree 100% with you. I could tell you as a Broncos fan, like you're not giving them Drew Lock just because Lock is love. Like, why would Green Bay want Drew Lock when they've got Jordan Love? You take Teddy Bridgewater, who could play and be serviceable for a year. And then you also take Cortland Sutton, you take Patrick Surtain, you take 2 first-round picks, and you give Aaron Rodgers. Who says no to that deal? Both
Yep.
sides say yes to that deal.
Plus, you get him out of not only the division, you get him out of the conference, and you get him locked in.
And you
If
got to
wait
have
till
him play
next
against
year,
Mahomes.
yeah, he'll pull a Brett Favre and go to Minnesota. I mean, get rid of him, get him to the other conference instead of taking the chance on letting him have his choice where he goes. I don't know. Didn't make sense to me.
And well, I mean, you're just setting him up and I'm knocking him down, talking about having a choice where you go. Because there's this school in Oklahoma, and there's another school in Texas that are like, bye Big 12, let's go to the SEC. Then you see rumors of Ohio State and Michigan want to go to the SEC. And then it's like, why don't the SEC and the ACC just combine? And it's like, okay, we'll have, like Boise State and Cincinnati joined the Big 12 and West Virginia. Like, okay, weren't they in like Conference USA a while back? Or the Big East used to be a thing too? I mean, maybe we should start getting smaller conferences and more of them. Say, hey, we've got 8 smaller conferences now, and we can have a true 8-game, bowl season or college football final, whatever you want to call it. But now we're starting mega conferences, and that 5th conference is going to be a bunch of weak teams. But if you're going to also put Oklahoma and Texas in the SEC, every year when you're going to the national championship game, you can only hope to get 2 teams to the playoffs and only probably 1 in the final. I mean, last year you could make an argument that 2 SEC teams should have made it in. People thought Florida deserved it, but then they blew the game at the end of the season. Florida wins that game. Florida beats Alabama. Then Florida's probably in over Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Or they're probably in, actually, I don't think over Notre Dame. They're in over Ohio State. So you can get 2 teams in. So you've got now, like 8 national title perennial, teams, and only 2 of them can get in. Like if you're Oklahoma or Texas, why do you? I mean, obviously money runs everything, and
it's
now
money.
with the name and likeness, image, likeness, the kids are just gonna get more and more money, which is more and more money for the school. Texas has an exclusive rights to a TV network. Notre Dame. Why would you ever join a conference when you have a money, contract with NBC to play every one of your home games? Hey, I'm NBC. I'm gonna just give you a bunch of money every year to put your games on my channel. Yeah, okay, works for me. And so we just see college football going every which way, and it's too much. It's divisive, and what's gonna happen with basketball is these guys are gonna be going overseas to play. They're not gonna be one and dones. They're gonna be LaMelos and people who are going to go play in Europe for a year and get paid there more than they get paid here. Or maybe that's why they have the name, image, likeness, because now you can get paid here. I just, there's so many avenues this is going to go that I don't know.
Yeah, the name, image, likeness in college basketball, I think will help.
I mean, is a college kid going to get a shoe?
Oh, yeah. UK players already signed a deal with Davion Mintz signed a Reebok deal earlier this week. Wow. So in basketball, places like Kentucky, places like Kansas, it'll help somewhere like Indiana, who's been down for so many years. Those places where that kid can come and make hundreds of $1,000s in local endorsements. I'm telling you, a kid can come to Lexington, Kentucky, and make so much money for car dealerships and just doing local TV, way more than they could possibly dream of making overseas or in some place like the G League. I would assume a place like Lawrence, Kansas, Bloomington, Indiana is the same way. And in football, I think you got boosters, and it'll help the Alabamas, but I think it'll be more balanced out in football than in college basketball because so many fewer places truly are passionate about college basketball. Your Chapel Hills, your Lexingtons, your Bloomingtons, your Lawrence, Kansas. It's just going to those schools will get.
Are you specifically leaving Duke out, or?
Yeah, because the Durham is not the town itself. I mean, Duke fans are nationwide Duke alum. Locally in that Golden Research Triangle down there are fewer Duke fans than there are NC State fans or North Carolina fans by far. If you're talking the local economy, local TV ads, local things. Yeah, I was leaving Duke out because I don't think they are in the same situation as even in Indiana. That's the only game in town in Bloomington or even Indianapolis. If you're talking local endorsement monies, yeah, a kid can make more in Bloomington than he could in Durham. I just think so. I mean, it's just SU
I
still
agree
get his
with you too.
players.
I was
Yeah,
just guess I was more or less getting at, were you leaving them out specifically because I'm a Duke fan, but then you explained it perfectly and had my exact same thoughts, and that's where I wanted to go with that.
Yeah. And I don't think it'll be that impactful in football. Yeah, I mean, Alabama's still going to get Alabama players, and they're going to make money in Tuscaloosa. But you know what? Paul Miller Ford in Lexington will pay a lot of money too to a football player. They will, but because people are passionate about football everywhere, and they're not passionate about basketball everywhere, you're not going to get a lot of name and image likeness money for a basketball player in Tuscaloosa. You're just not, or a basketball player in Boise. You're just not. But Boise will pay their football players name and image likeness money, guaranteed. So it's going to change. But Texas and Oklahoma coming to the SEC, that surprised me because Texas with that Longhorn network, they're going to have to give it up. SEC is going to say, we don't care if you're Texas. You're coming to the SEC, you're playing by the SEC rules. But the money from the SEC network is so big, it might rival their share of the SEC money, might rival what they're getting from the Longhorn network. I don't know. But those two teams that make 16 teams in the SEC would probably do more value in basketball than it would in football. I mean, they'll help in football, but Texas will be a 500 team at best year after year in the SEC at best. Oklahoma will probably be, but when you look at that SEC West, they'll have Oklahoma, LSU, Texas, Alabama, and Auburn. They'll have 4 perennial top 8 teams in the same division. They would have to make some sort of change because it's so West heavy geographically anyway. I can see Auburn and Alabama moving to the East, have 2 8-team divisions with Auburn, Alabama, and Georgia in the East. LSU, Oklahoma, Texas in the West. Might help balance the conference out a little bit, but I could definitely see 2 8-team divisions. I think that move helps the SEC in basketball more than football, in my opinion. But I did hear Jay Bilas talking on TV today that he thought the ACC and SEC should merge. If that happened, then it's all blown up. The whole thing is blown up, and we're looking at, hell, who knows, maybe the dissolution of the NCAA. Who knows? I mean, there'll be some domino effects that happen from this. It'll be interesting to see what happens. It'll be crazy. So this is just the tip of the iceberg. If and when this move happens, it'll be nuts. It'll be nuts.
Absolutely nuts. That's all I've got for our show today besides our end portion. Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
No, man, I've rambled and I've talked a lot. So
every time you set it up, and we don't even discuss this prior, because you just said that it's nuts. And you know what I think is nuts?
That's nuts.
My best thing I saw today was Tyler Murphy, T Murph, put a tweet out, say, hey, do you guys think I could raise $170 to help 25 underprivileged kids with some school supplies? And you just look at the replies, how can I help? I'm in, what can I do? Just endless list. Then he tweets out and says, I have over $1,000 for these kids. In less than a day, he asked for $170 to help, 25 underprivileged kids. Now you're talking 250 underprivileged kids that they're helping with school supplies because of Tyler's outreach and the generosity of the hobby, and literally a tweet, some retweets, some likes, and some comments. Now 250 plus kids are going to have a better school year and have a better chance of succeeding in life because of what Tyler did. And you know what? Tyler didn't do it for clout. Tyler did it to help 250 kids. Thanks, Tyler.
I'm not even going to do mine because mine doesn't touch that. I wish I'd have gone first. But that is, you just, what you just said, that's the best thing. I didn't see the tweet. I do follow Tyler, just must have missed it. Wasn't on a whole lot. Twitter today, I had some stuff going on late last night too, so I was about 24 hours not really on Twitter. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. And you're right. He did not do it for clout. But look what good the hobby can do, man. See the good, be the good, see the good. Don't be so damn cynical. Don't be so cynical, and look for, get out of the fellowship of the miserable and join the fellowship of the positive and do good things. You'll be happier. I promise you'll be happier. Start doing good things, seeing the good in others, accepting the good in what others try to do. and you'll have a much better hobby experience. So that's the best thing I saw. It was what you just told me. Best thing I saw this week is what Chris just said. So
Awesome.
There you go.
So, air high five. Whoosh.
Yeah.
That's it for us for this week. I'm not sure if we'll be back next week because we did every other week, but maybe we'll start doing every week again because we took like a month off. But Che and I will discuss. And then coming up in August, I do want to plug this. Che is going to take over the hosting duties of Around the Hobby. I'm going to be a contestant. I can't wait. We're still banging out the dates. We've got a tentative day, but I got to see who I want to be on, or have Chasey who he wants to be on, and see if he can put it all together and make up the questions and stuff. So I did want to plug that real quick before we jumped off here. But if you're watching live, thank you so much for joining us. For over an hour of two friends talking cards and hobby. We have just so much fun doing this all the time. If you're watching later, why are you still watching after 101 minutes or an hour, 61 minutes, not 101 minutes? And I'm just rambling. So that's it. Thank you guys and gals. Have a great night. And if you're
Thank you, brother. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Appreciate you guys. Have a great weekend, great week. Not weekend. The weekend's just over. Have a great week. And we'll see you next time. Thanks, Chris.